happy Wednesday. My name is Julie Hush, and I'm the Operations Manager here at Virtual Live Labs. I am really excited to sit with you today and to have our virtual sip with Vicki. I'd like to welcome all of the contact center teams here, all the individuals. Vicki and I were talking shop this morning, and we're excited to help you out today. Today, in our 30 minutes together, Vicki's going to be answering your contact center questions. With 20 years in the contact center space, she's got a lot of experience to pull from. Through failing forward and breaking out of all the boxes, Vicki has become a work-at-home subject matter expert. She's very excited to share this information with you so that you can take these ideas back to your teams and make your team successful. She tends to move quickly, so hold on. Welcome, Vicki.
Oh, thanks so much, Julie, and welcome everybody to a 30-minute virtual sip with Vicki. I hope you have your favorite beverage of choice. This is my grandson when he was a baby. He's now 9 years old. So I'm happy to be here. I'm drinking lemon water today. It's nice and warm in Central California. And again, so glad you're here. A special welcome to all the team leader and supervisor teams around the U.S. that have joined us today on a virtual field trip. I promise to have you walk away with lots of information that you can take back to your teams immediately. I truly believe that we are having what I would call an epidemic inside our contact center industry. We're not training leadership. We're not training leadership, and they're moving up the ladder, and they don't have the tools, especially in the work-at-home environment, to literally be able to inspire and motivate and drive engagement, productivity, and also performance. So I want to start answering your questions that you've already emailed in. And if you have additional questions, please put them in the chat. So Julie, without further ado, why don't you give me the first question today?
Great. Let's see. Question 1, someone asks, how can I get my work-at-home agents to be accountable and to perform?
Okay, this is a very interesting question because I truly believe that accountability starts with leadership. So if you want your folks, whatever level you are on the corporate ladder, to be accountable to you, you need to be accountable to them first. So let me give you some of the tools in my toolbox. So in every single nesting that I have ever gone into, regardless of where I was on the corporate ladder, I always go in and explain to new folks what they can expect, not just from me, but from their leadership and also from the company. And I'm very, very blunt about it, very direct. When they get into the teams as a supervisor or team leader, you need to tell them that you are going to be accountable first and what you're going to do for them. Whether it's making sure their paycheck is put in on time, making sure that their accuracy on the hours, that you're going to coach them, that you want to check in with them every day to see if they need help. Whatever you're going to do, you tell them that you're going to be accountable to them first. And then tell them, I need some things from you. And that's where you sort of make the deal. But you need to go in first and tell folks what you're going to do for them. And ultimately, wherever you are on the corporate ladder, you need to make sure that they are successful. But it starts with you. And then you make that deal. Therefore, if they don't come to work or they don't take the coaching, then you can go back in and use these word choices. You know, Mary, you and I had an agreement. I said I was going to be accountable and do these 3 things. Have I kept up to my end of the deal? And if they say no, then you're on the hook as a leader that you need to do those things first. But if you've done everything, and they'll let you know if you have, then you need to say, have you done everything you promised me? Because this is a partnership. Because we both obviously have jobs, and our job is to serve each other and the customer. So that's what I would say first about accountability. It starts with leadership. Julie, how about another question?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Any suggestions for getting my work-at-home agents to show up for work?
I love this question. I really, really do. And it's a great one. Right now, what we're seeing in the market is obviously there are not enough workers to go around, especially in our industry. And so really you want to keep and retain the agents you have and every level really, and you want to get them to show up for work. So everybody wants something in it for them, right? Because let's face it, agents have a hard job. They're in a chair for 8 hours a day. They get 2 15-minute breaks and a 30-minute or 1 hour lunch. And they're really just barreling through calls or chats or emails or texts or social media interactions. And so our job is to give them what they want. So I have a tool, it's called Dangle the Carrot. And basically it's their carrot. They decide what they want. whether it's to lead a roundtable, to help with a team meeting. You want to get them incorporated inside the business unit so that they have something else other than to answer phones to show up for work. Now you're going to say, but Vicki, that's what they signed up for. Yeah, well, you signed up for a lot of things too, and you're doing things outside your scope, right? Because nobody lets you know what that job's going to be really like until you sit in whatever chair at what level you're at. So you want to do what's in it for them. So find out if they want to lead a roundtable and then tell them this is what we're going to do. Lay out what you need them to do to be able to lead a roundtable or to participate in a team meeting or to give some training for 10 minutes in a team meeting or to recommend them for another job, whether it's a trainer or somebody in QA. Find out what that's in it for them and keep that foremost in front of them every single day. So your chats, your phone calls, your coachings, your meetings, you mention things specifically. You know, Mary, I know you mentioned to me that you really want to lead a roundtable in nesting. And so here's what I need from you. I want you to come up with 3 ideas and we're going to talk about them. You work on it this week. And, you know, top performers are the ones that get to do this in nesting. So I need to make sure that you show up for your shift, make sure you're on time, you don't get lost in the virtual hallways, and then let's set some time aside to take a look at what you would like to bring to the table. I think you've got to keep that carrot out there for them, and you've got to remind them, and that goes back to the first question that Julie asked me was, you need to be accountable to your agents and to your supervisors or team leaders or contact center managers if you're a VP.
That makes sense. So always keeping it in front of them, and that's their motivation.
That's their motivation, because you should think that, well, they gave their word, they get their check every week or every other week. But the bottom line is people were human. We need something else to work for other than just maintaining the status quo.
Yeah, other than just the paycheck.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay. Someone asks, my center attrition is too high. How do I reduce that KPI?
Okay. So what I'd like to do is invite everybody at some point to go out to our YouTube channel. I've done an 8-minute video on what we call the crisis cycle. So all the KPIs are connected inside of a cycle. They are. You know, the reason people leave is because they're not showing up for work. If they're not showing up for work, they're probably not performing. If they are performing and they don't show up for work, they don't like their shift. I mean, it's all connected, right? So to say you have just one issue because you have high attrition is not that's not your challenge. The challenge isn't the attrition number. The challenge is everything before that. It's being accountable. It's listening to them. It's giving them something else to work on. So you're saying, well, Vicki, you know, we can't get people off the phone, or my boss won't let me, or, you know, we have the calls or emails just barreling in. That email queue is huge. What my suggestion is to have a brainstorming session right in your team chat. Tell them a challenge that you're having. Hey, listen, we have got some new people coming in. We're getting ready to ramp up for the holidays, right? So what do you think new folks are going to be tripping over that we can help them in our very first team meeting? And then start a discussion in your team. If you've got an intranet or a team a discussion board, start having them, or you put them up there on the board, so that, again, you're interacting with them. So there's something other than them just answering calls or emails or texts, et cetera, and they feel like they have a personal stake in the success of the organization. Because when they come up with the ideas, they're not going anywhere. And when you let them in on those ideas and you utilize their ideas and you recognize that it's their idea, so your very first team meeting, you say, we've been working on this for the last 3 weeks. These are the 8 things that we feel that you're probably going to trip over as you've come into our team for this holiday ramp and it's become part of our organization. And then each one of our team members is going to be talking every week or twice a week, whatever, and helping you through these. So people get excited, and that's why they show up. Otherwise, they're going to go to another contact center for 50 cents an hour more, and you're going to lose all the time that you put into them. And the other thing is that a lot of organizations are trying to get back into the office, whether they get 100% back in the office or they don't. They've got to be able to ace some type of work at home because employees are going to demand it. So you've got to really get your virtual skills going so that you can really attract, retain the folks and get them excited so that they don't leave your organization.
Okay, so it isn't necessarily, we're just focusing on one KPI. You're saying that they're all connected.
That's correct.
Okay, so if we kind of quote fix one, it will fix all the others. It's a domino effect almost as well. Is that what?
That's exactly right. It is. So if they're excited, that means they're going to show up. If they show up, they're going to perform. If you give them part of a team chat to brainstorm, it's going to give them motivation to come into work, to stay there, to see their idea come to fruition. I had an agent once tell me in one of my meet and greets as I traveled across the country to meet my team, say to me, I'm scared to miss work because something's going to happen. I'm not going to know what's going on. So you want to keep things moving forward, not boring. They need things moving forward.
Yeah.
Yes, domino effect.
Okay. Someone asked, let's see. I am currently a team leader and I'm looking for a promotion, but I don't know how to get recognized, how to get noticed.
Okay, so it's the question what to do?
How do I get noticed?
How do you get noticed? Okay. Getting noticed in a virtual environment is obviously very different than in brick and mortar, because in brick and mortar, you all can stand up, you're walking around, everybody sees you. But that's not necessarily the truth, as you know, in a virtual work at home environment. So you need to be proactive. And this is where I tell people, you have to be in charge of your own career. If you're waiting for your contact center company to send you through a lot of training, other than that, maybe 1 week when you become a manager, or the once every 6 months boot camp, that's not what you need. You need to be able to take control of your organization. And part of that is gaining visibility. But you don't gain visibility for yourself. You gain visibility for your team. So here are some suggestions. So get your paper and pen out, or you're taking notes on your computer. You can actually use what I call the Manage Up tool. And so the Manage Up tool is very simple. You are going to your boss and you're doing a very short email and saying, I just want you to let you know that we are working on this KPI and I have Mary, Bob, and Sue working on it with some ideas. And I will be emailing you at the end of the week with those ideas, and we will drive them. And we're committed as a team to move that KPI. That's all you have to say. Now you can pick up the phone, or you can do a text in 2 days and say, wow, that email will be coming to you today. Really excited about showing you what our program is in our team. So in other words, you're forefront in her day or his day. Now, people are afraid to do that because, my gosh, now you have to perform. But you're not by yourself. You have your team, right? So what you do is you send your manager a game plan of 2 or 3 points or 1 point that you're going to be driving. And then you start giving them 2-line emails or a text or a chat every single day about what's going on. Don't let your boss go out and look at your stat. Take the stat and tell them what you're doing about it and give them some good news. So what I do with my organizations, and I've been doing this for many, many years, is if I'm having one of those really off days, I will pick up the phone and tell one of my leaders somewhere in my organization, I ask them this question, give me some good news. Because their good news makes me feel better. So do that for your boss. And if you're the only one or 2 people doing that, guess who's getting visibility? And you're not saying, wow, look at me, I'm a rock star team leader, I'm a rock star contact center manager or VP. You're promoting your folks by name. The other thing that you can do, and this is one of the tools, it's I believe tool number 9 in my book, is you absolutely can ask your manager to pick up the phone and do a praise call or even a praise email to Bob, Mary, and Sue, thanking them for helping you. You just ask your manager what you need. I mean, they're sitting at home too, probably, right? They don't know what to do. So ask them for something to help you with. Gee, could you please send Bob an email and thank him for this specifically? Make it easy so they can just cut and paste what Bob did. They put it in, or they forward your email, just and get rid of some of it and say, hey, Bob, just way to go. Thanks so much. This gives you visibility as a leader. And if you have a bad stat, you jump in front of it. Do not hide, because even if you don't know what to do and you're asking for help, you're still being proactive. And there's not a boss in the world that doesn't want you to be proactive. Those are some of the things that I would do to gain visibility for a promotion inside my business unit. Here's something else I would do. After the end of that week or 2 weeks, whenever you've done those 3 things or 1 thing, I would put together 2 or 3 or 4 slides in a PowerPoint, maybe even with music, and I would send it to my boss. And now it's not your picture, it's the picture of those 3 people that helped. Maybe it's a team shot of your team meeting. It could be you talking. It could be Bob talking. It could be Mary talking. You could have both talking, right? And make it less than 2 minutes, something that your boss can listen to. And now you're promoting your team, your success without saying, hey, look at me, I'm a rock star, give me a promotion. People want people to be promoted that are going to make their job easier. Make your boss's job easier, and give them examples that they can roll out to their team. Be a resource for your boss. And that's how you'll gain visibility.
That's good. And so if I'm making like our stats visible to my boss, but on like a group chat, then that will help my peers as well as the people below me being aware of what's going on as well.
Absolutely. You could send it to your peers as well. You could even take snapshots of the chats of where some of the ideas were, and you splice them together in an iMovie or in a PowerPoint presentation and send that. You could actually present it in the team leader meeting and show your peers, hey, this is something that helped us gain traction on this KPI. Try it. That's going to make you look ready for a promotion, right?
Yeah, that's good. Someone actually typed in a question. They said, my boss is insistent that we use surveys, but my team has grown to hate them. Is there any way to make the surveys more appealing?
Okay, great question. So what I would do is I would go out and give the business reason why. See, what always happens is the person upstairs starts telling the next person that tells the next person that tells the team leader or supervisor, you need to do this. Or HR comes in and says, you need to do this. No one explains the business reason why or helps the people that are their direct reports understand how to frame it up. So frame it up for your folks. If I'm a team leader, I would say, hey, listen, we've got another survey. They're really struggling and they're trying to make employee engagement decisions, and we need information. And I want to make sure that we have 100% participation so we know that we're doing our part. We can't complain and then they're asking us for help and we don't help. So let's have 100% participation. Let's be the first team in, and let's give them what they want, information, so that they can go out and help us. And I would also tell them, hey, listen, I'll report back. And I would be on my boss. If I was a team leader, I'd be on that contact center manager to get information from the VP, at least what was going on, so that I could report back to my team or my agents so they knew what was going on. Even if you don't have a report, you say, I contacted so-and-so, they contacted the VP, and I'm waiting for a response. Let your agents know you haven't forgotten them, that they are the most important part of your day. Keep the visibility up. That's what you need to do. It's totally different than working in a brick and mortar. You have to throw out all the skills and learn how to lead in a different way.
Yeah. And some of the conversations that you and I have had, it reminds me of the agents thinking, because they never get the response. They'll put the time in, every day, 3 times a week, whatever it is, but they don't know what the answers were. They don't see any change. They said what they said, but they don't know, did anybody hear me? Does it matter? So if they feel like they don't have a voice, then there's not going to be any reason to any desire to take the survey in their mind.
Exactly. And not just that, not just the survey, they don't want to show up, the coaching doesn't stick, then they tread out. I mean, it's that crisis cycle that I talked about that's on that YouTube video on our Virtual Live Labs YouTube channel. It's literally a chain reaction, and you can have a successful cycle. You don't have to have a crisis cycle. You can have a successful cycle by using some of these tools. Now, that brings up a really good point about feedback loops, communication feedback loops. And so that what you were talking about is the agents never hearing what's going on. Well, that's leadership's fault. So you need to go out in a video or go out in your group chat or post it on your intranet or on your team website or whatever you're using inside your organization, and let them know, hey, listen, I went into a team leader meeting today and I brought up these 3 things that we've been chatting about and talking about in our team meeting that you've been telling me about in your coaching sessions. And they promised to get some answers back, and they told me they'd have them on Thursday. So let me tell you, on Wednesday, I'm going to be sending her an email or him an email and say, hey, my team's waiting for answers tomorrow. I hope you've got them. And you're just reporting back. Then once you get the information, you report it back. If you have additional questions, you ask those questions and report back to your team. Keep the communication feedback loop going on everything, which again is a lot of moving parts. It's like you're juggling things, but that's really what it takes to literally manage in a work at home environment. Now, here's the thing is you can have your agents, your rock stars, the ones that really want to move into a leadership position. You can have them, you can give them and assimilate information to them and have them do a communication feedback loop for you. So now you've got several people. We call these captains inside my organizations when I've led contact centers, and you can have each captain have their own feedback loop for their communication. So lots of different tools to use out there, but communication is critical.
That's awesome. That's good. Okay. I am an HR generalist, and the remote contact center team I work with is struggling with employee engagement. I am looking for new ideas.
Okay, the number one question. My agents are lonely. We need engagement. So I'm going to tell you, you don't go out and buy new software until you have some type of a program that's going to fit in to your employee engagement software. And we have a couple of firms that we recommend. I love their software, but they will tell you, you need to have some type of a program, and their platform is there to support you. But what can you do right now that doesn't cost any money if you're in human resources? First of all, human resources is, if you're in trouble, that's where you go. And when HR comes in, someone's in trouble, right? If HR's on the other end of the phone or they're on the video conference, that means someone's getting canned. HR's over in the corner pedaling their bicycle just as fast as everybody else. And they get a bum rap because they're called in at the last minute and they've got the axe is coming down. Well, turn your HR department into not the complaint department, not the axe is falling down department, but be the proactive department. So ask your team leaders if you can go into team meetings for 10 minutes and find out what suggestions the employees have about employee engagement. What do they want? Here's a different idea for you. This is what we've done pretty much in every organization I've been running for 20 years. I always have either myself or a trusted advisor or HR come in and do what we call is resume writing clinics or how to interview. So when you're ramping up for the holidays and everyone's trying to get these pseudo leadership positions or be a team leader just for the holiday or help in nesting or help in training or a flex trainer position. I mean, there's lots of QA positions that come, lots of moving parts when you're ramping up. Have HR come in and they can actually talk about how to interview properly. And one of the best tools, and it's in my book, it's called third-party stories. So as your agents are helping each other, have them keep the stats of, someone's helping Bob or helping Pete or helping Sue. And then you could have a third-party story. And as an HR generalist, you can go in and hold these 20-minute or 15-minute quick labs to help them prepare for that interview. You could have an open forum for 3 hours once a week and have people come in on their breaks or lunches and literally sit down with you for 10 minutes and you can help them with their resume. Do something and be proactive. Give them another reason to stay. Do a fireside chat where this is not the complaint department, and you have to quit being the complaint department where people say, oh God, HR's coming in, we can just complain. No, this is proactive. I'm coming in to get your suggestions. And when people start complaining, you say, Mary, that's for a different meeting. Right now, we're talking about what can we do to help you be successful. So you go in and do that. You become the proactive arm. Instead of the axe is coming down or going into the complaint department, because that's what HR is known for. And whether you believe you are or not, doesn't matter at all. That's what your perception is on the floor. If you want to gripe, you go into HR because your manager's not helping you. So you go and you gripe in HR. No, be proactive. Help them with ideas. Help them. If you're looking at a piece of software, why not give 10-minute demos? Put that on the vendor to give you a 10-minute demo that you can go into team meetings and you share it as human resources or as the training department or joint with the training department so that HR is known to be proactive. Those are some of the ideas, because what people want is they want their ideas to be heard. And again, HR, when you're done, communication feedback loop, send an email, do a video, post it in their chat. Thanks, everybody. I had a great time with the Roadrunner team yesterday. Fantastic ideas. I'm passing them up the ladder. Thanks so much. This just takes 10 seconds to do one of those. But communication feedback loop, and then go out 2 weeks later or a week later and give them an update. Ask them if they thought of anything else. Be the proactive HR generalist, not the complaint department.
Awesome. Great. Okay, this person asks, things are always changing. How can I get buy-in on new initiatives more quickly? Everything seems to get lost with everything that's going on, and my agents don't seem to be on the same page as I am.
Okay, great question. Everything in the contact center space is connected. It just is. Just like the KPIs are all connected, like to your point, Julie, that they're sort of a domino effect. It's the same thing with getting buy-in for initiatives. If you just throw up the idea on them, right, and they get the memo, and most of them don't even see the memo, you need to use multiple channels. So text, phone, email, chat, intranet, right? If you have an intranet or a team board, you need to do that. And then just pick up the phone. We seem to forget the phone. Everyone's always, typing or chatting or they're texting, right? Pick up the phone and say, I'm just checking on you. Did you get X? Did you get the information that something's coming down the pike? We're having a new software release, or we're changing the way that we do shifts. And I'm going to be in to explain, did you get the memo? Just touch base with them. They just want to be what I call, they want to be touched. They want that touch point. So spend 20 minutes just picking up the team and leaving messages if they don't pick up the phone. Hey, I'm just passing through. Wanted to make sure that you got the information that we're, having a new scheduling software, a new ramp up software, or scheduling preferences, or whatever the case may be. And I just want to let you know that it's coming. Then as you start getting information, I would give it information in bite-sized pieces to my team. I would not hand them the whole thing and go through all 15 points. And whatever complaints they have, I would say, I'm going to, let's get the workforce manager analyst in here. And you can ask them questions. Bring in the analyst to answer questions. Because a lot of times the agents don't understand that the poor workforce manager and the analysts are just trying to make the schedule fit the staffing requirements, right? And someone above them is barking at them. So have them come in and answer questions or share their screen. I mean, when was the last time, if ever, an agent saw the screen that a workforce manager utilizes to be able to put schedules together? They don't know how it works. Show them how it works. Don't just tell them what they have to do. Show them. And you don't demonstrate it, ask somebody from Workforce Manager to send one of their analysts in. Again, another touch point. See, when we're in a brick and mortar, we see the Workforce Manager, we see the IT guy, we see HR, right? We see all these people that make this big group of people inside of our contact center organizations. You need to bring them into the virtual realm so that people get that same brick and mortar feeling. So give it in smaller doses, have someone else help deliver the news, take any kind of feedback and comments back, and start a communication feedback loop. You can even assign a captain in your team and ask for a volunteer. Who wants to be the captain for pulling together additional questions for a workforce manager? That way people are giving them all the information instead of you. And that gives you more time to do your communication feedback loops and your coaching. So spread the wealth and have multiple captains. That'll keep your people engaged. They're going to be excited to perform. And that means they're going to type faster. They're going to talk faster. They're going to work faster. So you'll see your stats on productivity change, and they're going to want to participate. So their performance will go up. And then you ask the workforce manager analyst to send an email back in or do a quick video on their phone and put it in the chat. Whatever communication you use, whatever channels you use, have that analyst do the same thing and thank everybody for their time. So again, touch points and communication feedback loops. I think that's it, Julie. We're almost at time.
Yeah, we are.
That went very, very quickly. Thanks very much. A couple things. We're going to send you a link to this video. We're going to time mark it with every single question, so you have a reference point to go in. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Virtual Live Labs, and also on LinkedIn, we have a company page where we're posting lots of videos, lots of tips about virtual leadership, and that's on our LinkedIn company page. Our next Sip with Vicki is July the 14th. It's Wednesday. We're doing it an hour earlier at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. Thanks everybody for stopping by. We're at the bottom of the hour. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you at the top.